Hi, what up guys? This is LeetCode 392 is Subsequence. We are given two strings s and t, and we are to return true if s is a subsequence of t or false otherwise. And this just explains what a subsequence is, but I'll do a really quick example. So let's say we had the word syntax, right? Or rather the string syntax. Let's say we had syntax as t, and we had ytx as our s string. In this case, we can see that if we were to look at the two of them, well, y does come first, and then we have t in this, and then we have x. So this would pass as a subsequence. However, let's say s was y, x, and t. Well, we can see that while y begins this, yes, x does not come before t, and therefore this would not qualify as a subsequence. So for this we'd return true, and this one we'd return false. So the way we intend to go about coding this, or at least running this type of code, would be that we use two-pointer method. So what we would do is we would set a pointer. So we would set a pointer to, let me just get rid of this to make this a bit more clear. So we'd set a pointer to begin here, and we'd set a pointer to begin here, right? And what we want to do is we want to compare our letter or our index here to our index in this string, right? So s doesn't equal y, okay, no problem. We can then increment this one to the next to see, does y ever appear in this string? So, well, y does appear. So what we can do is we can increment this one, and we can also increment this one to the next one, right? Hence, our two pointers are moving to compare the two strings, or the characters of the two strings. So in the end, we would compare this. Well, t does show up, so we can move this one, and we can move this one, right? Well, a is not equal to x. Fine, no problem. We move to the x. And it turns out that x and x correct. So this would then finish, and we would have our results return as true. So let me show you how this looks in code. So first we need our two pointers. So we're going to have to initialize two integers, which we'll call one as pointer s, which will start at 0, and we'll initialize another one, which we'll call another integer, which we'll call pointer t, which will also start at 0. Okay, so next we want to write up the while loop that will traverse our two pointers, right? So in our while loop, we're going to state that pointer s must be less than s dot length, because we can't have it run longer than the actual length of the string itself. So pointer s is less than s dot length, and we need to satisfy two conditions here. So we also need to satisfy that our pointer t does not run longer than our the length of our string t. Right. So now we need to write the little bit of logic within the while loop that will state that if our characters match, we will move pointer s to the next index, right? So in this case, we'll write an if statement that states that if s dot character at pointer s is exactly equal to t, or character at pointer t. So this is whatever index pointer t is, we are looking at the character in string t, and the same applies to s. So if this is true, then we will increment our pointer s by 1. So we will move it along to the next index, right? Yes, so the next thing we want to do is then, because we're constantly comparing characters from string T to string S, we always want to, if this isn't true, then nothing happens. However, we always want to increment our pointer T in our while loop. In every single loop of our while loop, we want to increment pointer T by 1, because we're always comparing. If it's true, pointer S and T will move. If this isn't true, then pointer T will move alone to the next character. And so we now need just the logic which will return either false or true or false. So in our case, we're going to return pointer S is exactly equal to s.length. And so how this works is, well, if the length of pointer S is the same as the length of our subsequence, then we have managed to iterate through the entire subsequence and found the correct subsequence. However, if we haven't managed to iterate through this entire string, then we wouldn't have the exact number of our length, and therefore we won't be able to return true or false. This, by the way, returns true or false, right? So if this is exactly equal to s.length, it's true, then it will return true. If it isn't, then it will return false. It will return false. So if we submit that, we will see then that we get an accepted solution. Maybe not the fastest or the best, decent on memory, but maybe not the fastest, but I think it is incredibly simple to understand how this works. If you want to try and write a faster solution, go ahead. I think understanding is important first. Now that you understand it, go and try write a faster solution. Anyway, I hope that helps. If it didn't, leave a comment. If it did, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.